Hello friends, welcome for today's video. The topic for today's video is branch accounting, and the topic what we are going to discuss today is independent branch under branch accounting. So let's have a small introduction of it. We all know that the branch accounting main purpose is that head office wants to know what is happening with the branch. So head office has various branches, maybe one in Mumbai, one in Bangalore, one in Chennai. So when these branches are completely dependent on the head office for the transaction, for the policies, for the goods, and they have no decision making choice. Everything should be followed as per the instruction of the head office, and all the expenses will be taken care by the head office. So it is like a one way. Head office will maintain a branch account and which will record all the transaction related to the branch and identify what is the profit and loss which is taking place in the individual branch. When the decision is given to the branch, that means they will start recording all the transactions which is taking place in the branch. At the same time, the branch is also allowed to open an account on of head office. That means it becomes like a two-way. That means head office will have a branch account and branch will open a head office account. So it becomes a two-way where all the decisions and all the power is given for the branch. So that is why it is called as independent branch. So if you want to know more about dependent branch, you can always look into the previous videos where we have discussed about branch, dependent branch, the problems related to dependent branch, the theory related to dependent branch. So you can find all this video link in the description. Subscribe the channel, click on the bell button. So let us understand what do you mean by independent branch. So as I said, keeping full system of accounting, that means now independent branch will allow to maintain books of accounts. They can take the decision towards the business. They can also supply the goods to the head office, pay the expenses on behalf of head office, and deposit cash in their own account, which was not allowed for dependent branch, if you remember. But remember, profit and loss will belong to head office only. So keep complete set of double entry books of accounts. It has to maintain complete double entry system, that is preparing trial balance, trading and profit and loss account, and balance sheet. Branches open head office account in their books. As I said, branches will also have a separate head office account, whereas head office will open a branch account. So let us look into a problem. So we have to understand certain entries before we start with the problem. We'll only concentrate on one part of the entry, that is effect of head office. That means in the books of head office, what are the transactions which is taking place and how it is recorded in the books of head office. So let us understand first thing, if there is a purchase of fixed asset in the branch. That means if a branch is going to purchase a fixed asset, how the entry should be treated. If payment is made by branch, then branch fixed asset account debit to branch account. So in the head office, in the branch account, it will write by fixed asset. Remember, we have prepared branch account. You know the format of branch account. So the entry will be branch fixed asset account debit to branch account. If the payment is made by the branch, if the payment is made by the head office, then there is no relation of branch. So the entry remains branch fixed asset account debit to bank. Why? Because the money is going out of head office, so to bank. In case of depreciation of fixed asset, in the books of head office, it will be branch account debit to fixed asset account. So the amount is deducted and it is going to affect the branch. So branch account debit to branch fixed asset. Why? Because we are not going to charge separate depreciation. End of the day, the value of the asset should come down. So we are going to put an opposite entry for it. Head office expenses. Any expenses which is paid. Any expenses which is paid by the head office. It is branch account debit to profit and loss account. Reconciliation of transit item. There are two types of transits which can take place. One is goods is being sent from the head office to the branch, or cash is being sent from the head office to the branch. Cash is being sent for various purposes to pay their expenses like rent, salary, etc. And goods is being sent so that they can sell it. So when the goods is when the cash is sent, what is the transaction? Cash in transit account debit to branch. Why? Because the amount is sent to the branch. If goods is sent, goods in transit account debit to branch. So if there is a inter-branch transaction, it is always possible that there are multiple branches. So suppose you would have seen that when you would have went for a shop, you would have seen that if there is one product which is not there in their branch, they will say that we will get it from our other branch and deliver it to you. That is also possible because they don't want to lose the customer. At the same time, you have gone to a branch, so they will have a connectivity from the other branch. So any product which is not available in branch A can be bought from branch B. So what is the transaction? How does the transaction take place in the books of head office? Simple. Branch 1 account debit to branch 2 account. We are only focusing on in the books of head office. So we'll only concentrate that. Cash paid by branch on behalf of head office. So if there is any amount which is taken place, for example, the branch is purchased something, but the branch pays the money on behalf of head office. So the entry is purchases account debit to branch account because head office is liable to branch now. So purchases account debit to branch. Cash collected by branch on behalf of head office. That means some amount which is pending for head office, but it is being collected by the branch. For example, calls in arrears collected from head office shareholders. So the entry is branch account debit to calls in arrears. If a bill is drawn by one branch on another branch. See, sometimes what happens, as I said the previous example, for example, you go for a computer shop where you wanted a laptop. Now that laptop is not available in branch 1, but they try to find out that the same laptop is available in branch 2, which is little far from that place, and they say that after a day you can come. Now when they are sending the laptop from branch 2 to branch 1, it is not that branch 1 will make a payment. Yes, so it will be on a bill based. Now what is the effect? For example, the good is being taken from branch 1, so the entry will be branch 1 account data to bills payable account, which is maintained in the head office book. Now what will be the entry for branch 2? Because the stock is not there with him, it has come out and he has not received the money. So bills receivable account debit to branch 2 account. So we have understood the transaction. We are only focusing on head office transaction. We will come to branch transaction also. It is very simple. So let us look into one question and solve this transaction. Okay. So let us go for the first question. The head office had sent goods on 24th. So sorry, we'll start with the question. Write journal entry in the books of head office as well as the branch on 31st December 2015. So we have to prepare journal entry in the books of head office and also in the branch, but now we will concentrate only on head office. So let us look into the transaction. The head office had sent goods on 27/12/15 worth 1000 to the branch and received the goods on 4/1/2016. That means the branch is received on 4/1/2016. So what should be the entry? Simple. Branch account debit to fixed asset. So we have already, you can make a note of all this so that it is easy for you to solve the problem. So let's start with the transaction. Let me first pass the first entry. So goods in transit, because the goods is sent. The goods is sent. I have shown you the journal entry for it. Goods in transit, debit to branch account. Amount is 1,000. So the narration, being goods sent by head office, not reached to branch, because if you remember, the question says as on, we are preparing journal entry as on 31st December, but it is only reached on 4/1/2016. So I have written the narration as being goods sent by the head office, not reached to the branch. So let us go for the next one. 28/12/2015, the branch had remitted rupees 750 to the head office, which received the amount on 6/1/2016. So this is something like cash in transit. So let us go for the next entry. Cash in transit account debit to branch. Simple. There it was a goods. Here it is cash 750, and the narration. Sorry, it's not goods sent. It is cash sent. Depreciation on branch asset was 400. The account of this asset was kept in books of head office. So depreciation also we have discussed. You have to just follow the journal entry which is already given to you. So depreciation is also given to you. So we will just follow the same transaction. I've already explained you. So branch account debit to branch asset account 400 being depreciation on branch asset. So let's go for the next question. That is next transaction. A clerk of the branch had rendered service worth 600 in the head office. His salary was paid by the branch. So a clerk working in a head office, the salary is paid by the branch. So as I said, when it comes to the features, that even branch will pay on behalf of head office. So salary account debit to branch 600, being branch paid salary on behalf of head office. Okay, the last transaction, the branch paid rupees 100 dividend to a local shareholder on behalf of the head office. It is simple. There it was salary. Here it is dividend which is paid. So dividend to branch account 100 being dividend paid on behalf of head office. So let us now understand the journal entry on behalf of branch. So if the fixed asset is purchased and if the payment is made by the branch, then it is head office account debit to cash. Why? Because the payment is going out from the branch and branch has to record it. So it will be head office account debit to cash. But if the payment is made by the head office, there is no entry. So if you remember in first situation, the amount was paid by the head office. So we will not have any entry for that. Depreciation of fixed asset in the books of branch, profit and loss account to head office account. Head office expenses, any expenses which is being paid by the head office, again profit and loss account debit to head office account, because the amount is being paid by the head office. So here it has to record it that amount is being paid by the head office and for whatever expenses which is taken place. So if it is rent paid, rent account debit to head office account, because it is not giving the cash. So expenses is taking place. Debit all expenses. Credit what goes out. There is nothing going out. So credit the giver. Who is the giver? Head office is the giver. Cash in transit. If there is any cash in transit, then cash in transit account debit to head office account. If goods in transit, as it is not received, the goods is not received to the branch, so there is no entry. Only if they receive the goods, they can pass the entry. So if there is any inter-branch transaction, I told you the example for inter-branch. So goods received from other branch account debit to head office account, because money is not paid and the head office is recorded the branch specifically. So it has to record it as goods received from branch, whichever the goods which is received from a specific branch to head office, because amount should be sent to the head office in the future. So cash paid by branch on behalf of head office account debit to cash, because cash is going out and the receiver is head office. So suppose here, for example, the goods received from other branch and it is to head office here. So when it is realized, the amount is realized, then that money has to be sent to the branch. So head office account debit to cash. Cash collected by branch on behalf of head office, cash account debit to head office account. If the bill is drawn on one branch to another branch, then if it is branch 1, it will be returned. If it is giving the goods, it will be bills receivable account debit to head office account. If it is receiving the goods from other branch, head office account debit to bills payable account. So same transaction. We have already discussed the transaction. So let us go with the next one. For the first one, so as I said, goods sent but not received. So goods sent but not received. So we have already done with the journal entry of head office. Now let us go with the journal entry of branch. So there is no entry because it is 31st December 2015. On that date, there is no entry in the books of branch because it is not received. Same in case of cash transit. So there will be no entry. So depreciation on branch asset. So just now I showed you in case of depreciation. Depreciation of fixed asset, profit and loss account debit to head office account. Fine. So profit and loss account debit to head office account 400. So being depreciation of asset recorded. What are the next entry? The next entry is a salary is being paid by the branch on behalf of the head office. So head office account debit to cash, being salary paid on behalf of head office. The next one is the dividend paid on behalf of head office. So head office account to cash, the reason is dividend paid. So the total is 1100. So it's very simple. Let's have a summary of it. You have prepared journal entry in the books of head office. The goods were sent from head office to the branch for 1000. So goods sent by head office not reached branch. So that is the transaction. Again, on second entry, the cash is being sent. Cash in transit account to branch 750 being cash. Okay. Being cash sent by head office not reached to branch. Then third transaction is about the depreciation charged by the head office. So branch account debit to branch asset account. If the asset name is given, we will mention the asset name. Then the salary is paid by the branch for the worker who's there, for the clerk who's there in the head office. So salary account to branch, it is recorded in the head office because the amount is paid by the branch. When it the last transaction, the dividend is paid by the branch on behalf of head office. So dividend account debit to branch. When it comes to branch, as the date is 31st December, goods is being sent by the head office. It is not received by the branch. So there will be no entry for the first one. There will be no entry for the second one because the amount is received on 6/1/16, whereas the books is for the journal entry is prepared on 31st December 2015. So let us go for the third entry. This is for the depreciation charge, profit and loss account debit to head office account, and salary paid, head office account debit to cash because the amount is being paid on behalf of head office. Again, the dividend is also being paid on behalf of head office. So head office account debit to cash. So this is about independent branch. It's very simple. Make sure you remember the journal entry. Journal entry will be attached in the description. You can download it. If you want, you can download it and understand the journal entry. If you remember the journal entry, the problem is very simple. This is about independent branch journal entry. Any doubts, you can always put it in the chat. So we have discussed about independent branch, the theory. We have also solved a problem. So thank you guys. Any doubts, you can put it in the chat. Subscribe the channel, click on bell button so that I can post further videos. Thanks for motivating by subscribing the channel. Thank you guys. You can see other videos which is been linked in the description. If you want to know about dependent branch theory problems, you can always look into the description for those videos links. Thank you.